Tonight, under the glow of Yankee Stadium's lights, the stage is set for a clash of American League contenders. The Houston Astros, leaders in the AL West, arrive in the Bronx with their eyes fixed on maintaining control of the division. The New York Yankees, battling to close the gap in the AL East, are looking for a spark. August baseball can feel like a grind, but games like this are where post-season fates quietly turn. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear it, the sound of momentum shifting before the first pitch is thrown. Houston sends Hunter Brown to the mound. The 26-year-old right-hander has been the definition of consistent dominance. 9 wins, a 2.47 ERA, and a 0.98 WHIP across 131 innings. On the road, he's been almost untouchable, with a 5-2 record and a 2.56 ERA in 12 starts. His 155 strikeouts aren't just a number. They're a blueprint for how he attacks hitters. First pitch strikes, elevated fastballs to finish, and a willingness to challenge the zone. Against a power-heavy Yankees lineup, that command could be the difference between a quiet inning and a crooked number. For New York, it's Cam Schlittler making his 5th big league start. The 24-year-old righty is still navigating the steep learning curve of facing MLB lineups. Through 19.2 innings, he carries a 4.58 ERA and a 1.68 WHIP, and at home, those numbers climb to a 5.59 ERA and 1.76 WHIP. His high strand rate hints at trouble, too many base runners, too many jams escaped by thin margins. Against a disciplined Astros order that ranks second in batting average and on-base percentage, those margins will be tested. The Astros bring a balanced attack. Contact hitters who get on base, paired with enough pop to change the game in a swing. The Yankees counter with league-leading power, 182 home runs, and a .447 slugging percentage. But that reliance on the long ball can turn volatile against elite pitching. Add Houston's superior bullpen ERA, cleaner defense, and the Yankees' losing home record, and the numbers speak in one direction. In the end, this game feels less like a coin flip and more like a calculated burn, the kind where the edges are visible if you know where to look. And today's AI pick is Astros Moneyline. Will we cash or will we burn? Abaddon, you're up next.
Tonight in Detroit, the AL Central leaders look to steady their grip on the division. The Tigers have watched their once double-digit lead shrink, but with their ace on the mound, they'll try to slam the door on any further doubts. Across the diamond, the Angels arrive from Anaheim with little more than pride and evaluation left to play for in 2025. One team is fine-tuning for October. The other is just trying to see tomorrow. For Los Angeles, veteran right-hander Kyle Hendricks gets the start. Once known for his surgical command, Hendricks now leans on guile more than overpowering stuff. He enters at 6'8" with a 4.59 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP over 111.2 innings. On the road, the picture darkens, 2-4 record, 5.44 ERA. His strikeout rate sits under 6 per 9 innings, and contact-heavy lineups have been able to string together hits against him. 18 home runs allowed speak to the danger of missed spots, and Detroit's bats will be hunting for those mistakes. For the Tigers, it's Tarik Skubal, the reigning AL Cy Young winner and arguably the most dominant arm in the league this year. Skubal's 11-3 record, 2.18 ERA, and razor-thin 0.83 WHIP tell the story of control and command at its peak. He's allowed just 98 hits in 140.2 innings while striking out 181 and walking only 19. At Comerica Park, he's been nearly untouchable, 8-1 with a 2.23 ERA. His ability to miss bats, change eye levels, and shut down rallies makes him the kind of stopper a contender relies on. Offensively, the Angels still carry punch. 161 home runs rank 5th in baseball, but their .232 average and .304 OBP rank near the bottom. The Tigers bring a steadier attack, 250 average, .317 OBP, and top 10 slugging at .423. They don't need to live and die by the long ball to score runs, and against Hendricks, they can manufacture offense and still have the pop to break the game open. The bullpens and defenses tilt the field further. Detroit's relief corps sits in the league's top 10 in ERA and WHIP, while the Angels ranks near the bottom. In a game where the better starter is backed by the deeper pen, the numbers point one way, and today's AI pick is Tigers, 1.5. Will we cash or will we burn? Sapphira, you're up next.
Tonight at Guaranteed Rate Field, two AL Central rivals meet on very different paths. The Cleveland Guardians, sitting in second place and fighting to keep pressure on Detroit, roll in riding a 3-game win streak. The Chicago White Sox, buried at the bottom of the division, are looking for anything to halt a 3-game skid. One team is chasing October. The other is trying to avoid being erased from the conversation. For Cleveland, it's right-hander Tanner Bybee taking the mound. The 25-year-old enters at 7-9 with a 4.51 ERA and a 1.25 whip over 125.2 innings. His strikeout-to-walk ratio, 112K to 34 BB, shows solid control, but the hits have come too often, and his season has been defined by inconsistency. Still, Bybee's last few outings have leaned sharper, and against a White Sox lineup ranked 27th in runs per game, there's opportunity to work deep without the bullpen being tested too early. Chicago counters with Aaron Civale, a familiar face for Guardians fans. Civale is 3-6, with a 3.99 ERA and a 1.24 whip over 70 innings. His game is built on precision, limiting free passes and forcing weak contact. But the White Sox defense behind him has been unreliable. With Chicago's fielding percentage near the bottom of the league and their offense averaging just 3.8 runs per game, Civale often has little margin for error. Neither offense strikes fear in the league. Cleveland ranks last in batting average at .228, while Chicago sits just one tick higher at .229. Power production is also modest, 120 home runs for the Guardians, 110 for the Sox. The difference comes in run prevention. Cleveland's pitching staff owns a top 12 ERA, while Chicago's sits in the bottom half. In a low-scoring projection, the team that minimizes mistakes usually wins, and the Guardians have been better at that all season. Momentum matters too. Cleveland's 30-28 road record shows they can win away from home, while Chicago's 18-40 home mark reflects a team that can't find comfort even in its own park. Add in the Guardians' recent surge against the Sox's continued slide, and the numbers and narrative align. And today's AI pick is Guardians money line. Will we cash or will we burn? Anna, you're up next.
Under the lights at Petco Park, the Boston Red Sox and San Diego Padres meet in a clash of postseason contenders from opposite coasts. Boston arrives second in the AL East, holding the top wild card, while San Diego sits second in the NL West, chasing down the Dodgers. The story tonight isn't just who wins, it's how few runs might cross the plate. Boston sends Walker Buehler to the mound. Once one of the game's premier arms, Buehler's 2025 season has been a grind. 6-6 record, 5.75 ERA, and a 1.60 whip over 94 innings. His last 5 starts have been steadier, with a 4.00 ERA in that stretch, but control lapses have inflated pitch counts and created trouble. Against San Diego's current roster, Buehler has allowed 6 home runs in 135 opponent at-bats. If he can lean on his cutter and keep the ball down, he can keep the Padres' power in check. Opposite him is Nick Pivetta, having the kind of season that puts him in Cy Young conversations. At 11-3 with a 2.73 ERA and a 0.93 whip, Pivetta has gone 7 straight starts without allowing more than 2 earned runs. His command is crisp, his fastball-curveball mix is keeping hitters guessing, and he's been surgical at limiting base runners. The Red Sox have limited exposure to Pivetta. Just a handful of hitters have faced him, which plays to his advantage. Offensively, Boston brings a top 5 scoring attack on the season, but their slugging drops in larger ballparks and Petco's deep gaps can turn extra base hits into long flyouts. San Diego's bats have warmed lately, but season-long numbers place them near the bottom in slugging percentage and home runs. The bullpens and defenses matter in a total play, and here the numbers favor the under. San Diego's relief corps is second best in ERA and whip, while Boston's pen ranks in the top 10. Neither team's defense is flawless, but the Padres are sharper. And in tight games, they close doors instead of leaving them ajar. The path to this total staying low is clear. Pivetta continues his dominant stretch. Buehler keeps the ball in the yard, and the Pens hold serve. In a ballpark that suppresses power, that's a recipe for quiet scoreboards. And today's AI pick is under 8. Will we cash or will we burn? Rocco, you're up next.
Tonight, under the bright lights of Dodger Stadium, two heavyweights meet in an interleague showdown, the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Toronto comes in riding the momentum of a Coors Field massacre, sweeping Colorado and piling up 45 runs in 3 games. Los Angeles, meanwhile, is trying to steady the ship after a mixed series against St. Louis. The stage is set for a battle between two Hall of Fame caliber arms, Max Scherzer versus Clayton Kershaw. Let's start with Max Scherzer. At 41 years old, he's still every bit the competitor you'd expect, snarling on the mound, pounding the zone, and making hitters uncomfortable. This season, he's 2-1 with a 4.39 ERA and an excellent 1.05 WHIP over 8 starts. Scherzer is fresh off 6 innings of 1-run ball against Kansas City, and he's owned the Dodgers in his career, a 2.34 ERA across 16 starts. The current LA lineup has managed just a .220 batting average against him, though they've tagged him for 9 homers. If Scherzer commands his fastball early and works the slider off the edges, he can keep this potent Dodgers lineup in check. On the other side, Clayton Kershaw is coming off 6 scoreless innings against Tampa Bay. The 37-year-old lefty owns a 5.2 record and a 3.29 ERA this year, still leaning on pinpoint command and that legendary curveball. But here's the problem. Toronto has been absolutely crushing left-handed pitching lately. Over the past 10 days, the Jays have put up a .321 batting average and a 154 WRC plus against southpaws. Kershaw hasn't faced Toronto since 2019, and only a handful of Jays hitters have seen him before. He'll need to be perfect with location, because this Jays lineup punishes mistakes. Game analysis. The Dodgers have been inconsistent since the All-Star break, going just 8-10, while Toronto is surging, leading the AL East and showing no fear on the road. Toronto's offense is the most disciplined and productive in baseball right now, and even though the Jays' bullpen has been shaky this season, they're coming off a flawless series in Colorado. Combine that with their matchup edge against Kershaw, and the value is clear. And today's AI pick is Blue Jays plus 1.5. Will we cash or will we burn? Next game, Lilith takes the mic for the recap, and trust me, she's got something sharp to say.
They say the house always wins, but tonight, we'll see if the house even knows the game we're playing. Game 1, Houston Astros over the New York Yankees, moneyline. Game 2, Detroit Tigers to cover 1.5 against the Los Angeles Angels. Game 3, Cleveland Guardians on the moneyline against the Chicago White Sox. Game 4, under 8, runs between the Boston Red Sox and San Diego Padres. Game 5, Toronto Blue Jays to cover plus 1.5 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. En español, Juego 1. Astros de Houston sobre los Yankees de Nueva York, línea de dinero. Juego 2. Tigres de Detroit para cubrir. 1.5 contra Los Ángeles de Los Ángeles. Juego 3. Guardianes de Cleveland en la línea de dinero contra los Medias Blancas de Chicago. Juego 4. Menos de 8 carreras entre los Medias Rojas de Boston y los Padres de San Diego. Juego 5. Azulejos de Toronto para cubrir Pulvers 1.5 contra los Dodgers de Los Ángeles. Like and subscribe. Will we cash or will we burn?
Man muss das Unmögliche versuchen, das Mögliche zu erreichen. One must attempt the impossible in order to achieve the possible.